And thank you so much for everyone who joined us live yesterday. I know there were lots of you catching up on the replay, but it's absolutely brilliant to see you all. Hey, Steph, how you doing? So come on, tell me in the chat, who was here yesterday? Who did their homework? I've seen some of it in the group. It's brilliant. It really is to see everybody getting really engaged and really involved. You know, I think I'm not sure who you're coming up as user, so I don't know who to say hello to, but hello. Just tell us your name so that I feel like I'm talking to the right person. Steph, yes, Steph, I read your homework. I loved it. Oh, I could feel myself about to go on the beach. It was amazing. Honestly, the homework is so powerful. You know, I told you guys how I did a similar exercise. I've done a similar exercise many times. I did one in 2013, and when I read it back now, I haven't got all of it on the list, but oh my goodness, I've got a lot of it. Oh, hey, Remy. And it just feels so real. Like my dream that I wrote in 2013 was that I didn't work full time. I was involved with horses, but I wasn't like mucking out 3,000 stables a day. I had 2 small girls. I lived in Gloucestershire, and I had ponies in the garden. So I'm on the Wilts Gloss borders. I'm still involved with horses. I love what I'm doing. I have 2 small girls. I just need ponies in the garden. But honestly, if you don't write it down, if you don't call that vision in, it will never, ever be possible. So absolutely, hats off to everyone for doing the homework. It's fantastic. Now, what I wanted to just start us off with today is this week is about changing you and your business. It starts with you. That's why we started with the visions. Today, it's the mindset stuff. Before we go on to change your business. Now, I posted on Instagram today, and I think I said this in the group the other day, but I just love this quote about how if you want to change your reality, you have to change your personality. It's such a great quote. That is from Dr. Joe, I want to call him Dispenser, but I think he says it in a more American way, Dispenser or something like that. But he is an incredible brain scientist, and he's somebody definitely follow his stuff on YouTube, read his books. So interesting. But it's true. What's got you here is fantastic. But for upgrading life and business, you've got to upgrade yourself. So all about, yes, he's great, isn't he, Mary? All about dreaming bigger yesterday. And it was absolutely fantastic. I just loved the energy from everybody. It really was amazing. But I just wanted to remind you, it's all about digging deeper and doing the work. And we talked about this yesterday, but if anyone didn't join us live, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You really are, but it's okay. Like it's not a problem if you're like, feeling a bit funny at any point. You know, this is designed to be a disruptive program in the best possible way. Because like I said, what's got you here, amazing. It's not going to get you to 3, 4, 5, whatever your goal is, months, because otherwise you'd already be there. Now, I mentioned yesterday about 2017, how I had a job I used to love, and then I started hating my job because I was away from my little daughter, and I was really miserable, working all the hours, and I just had enough. And I decided, I've spoken about this in the group before, I decided to quit my job. I didn't have a business. I had just basically had enough of my job. And I was like, there's got to be more to this than life. What I did have was a vision. And my vision was very sketchy. And I didn't truly believe in it. But I just knew, there was an alternative. I knew there was a life where I didn't have to leave my daughter for like 60 hours a week, where I could just be a bit more relaxed and I could just enjoy life. And that's really what I held on to. I started running the courses while I still had my full-time job. I just did a couple of courses before I left, simply as a way of cheering myself up. Like at that point, it wasn't a business. And then, you know, things evolved and it became a fantastic business the following year. But I left my job without business to go to. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I'm not saying you should do the same thing at all. But what I'm sharing is that the vision helps me. I said to my husband, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. I did the maths and it didn't look too good on how things were going to pan out financially for us. I was so determined to stick with my vision. I was like, I'll just do that car. I'm just going to cycle everywhere. Like, we live in a small little village and there wasn't that much to do, but I was like, that's fine. And do you know what happened? A week after I handed in my notice, my husband was offered a new job. His salary almost doubled, actually. It was a really massive step. And he got a car, which meant I got to have his car. So the reason I want to share this with you is it's not about quitting your jobs. For those of you that have jobs and you can't wait to quit them, don't just do it on a whim. It's about holding that vision. If I hadn't just kept imagining a life where I called the shots, I wasn't chasing my tail, I didn't have all these awful childcare issues about nanny, just being like, oh, sorry, I'm not coming in today, and just feeling so stressed. If it hadn't held that vision of what I wanted, it wouldn't have come together. And you can do the same too. So as I said, today it's believing it today. We've done the first part, getting the dream, getting the vision. Today we've got to believe it. We've got to make it sink into your minds. Then all we've got to do is take action. And the rest of the days are taking action. But if you take action without knowing where you're going, you won't necessarily take the right action. If you have a goal, have a dream, have a place you want to go, but don't have the belief, your action is going to be a bit half-hearted, and it shines through that self-doubt, that feeling like, oh, I don't know if I can pull it off, or people are going to question this. It shines through. That's why these are such essential elements. It really is. All of this has got to happen. So it's not like a cherry pick, oh, I just want to work with vets, come to that day. It's all builds on each other. So amazing to have you all here today. Now, you'll have heard me say this before, and for many of you, you may have found this in your riding careers as well. Your mind is your biggest asset. It really is. Now, you might be thinking, well, I signed up for like business tips, loads of business tips, but your first business tip that you are not using properly at the moment is your mind, is your brain. It is the best thing, and it's also the worst thing. It's what is stopping you, and it really, really can be holding you back without you even realizing at all. Like, we limit ourselves so much. It's incredible. Like, I can remember a time when, not even that long ago, a few years ago, the courses are doing really well. I was loving Facebook. I could not even conceive having content on Facebook and Instagram. It just didn't seem possible. I was like, no way, I can't do that. Then I finally got the hang of Instagram, and I could not wrap my head around stories. I was just like, oh, I can't do this and stories, and you can. Like, when you have the belief that you can make it work, you really can do it. And then fast forward, not even that long, I've now got 2 parts to the business. It's so possible. It's so doable. It really, really is. So it's only what you tell yourself you can or can't do that is defining what you are or aren't doing. Like I said, I could not wrap my head around the fact I could manage 2 social platforms. And it's so much more is possible. You can do so much more than you even believe right now. And before we dive in, I also just wanted to say, oh, it's so amazing to talk to lots of you on implementation calls. It was fab. These, for those of you who haven't signed up for one yet, they're 10-minute, super short, super productive, laser focused coaching sessions where I just can find out a little bit more about you and where you need my help. Like, oh my goodness, we covered so much in the sessions yesterday. I have got, they were all full earlier, but a few people have wiggled around a bit. So there's 2 spaces up for grabs this afternoon. Miri, if you could share the link. I think they are 4:15 and 4:30 looking at it. If you want one of those slots, Miri will put the link in the chat. Get on that. If you can't edit it for any reason, just write which time you'd like, and Miri will add you on. And I have added a couple more on Wednesday because they've all gone so fast, which is amazing. But just don't want anyone to miss out. So if you want one, go for it. Right, before we kick off, Romy, you're on the call. You asked me, what does expert stand for? I did talk about this yesterday, but if you're watching the replay, I'm not going to lie, I did a rubbish job of trimming the replay because I did it, not Mary, and tech's not my strong point. So I might have chopped that bit off. So apologies. It is on page 23, Romy, of your workbook. So it's just here. And yeah, fill that bit in from day 1 if you haven't already. So grab your workbooks out and let's get cracking. And also just a reminder for tomorrow. Tomorrow is positioning your business. And this is so, so important. Like, I know everybody is pumped for day 4, wanting to work with vets, but you have to know who you help, the results you give, and who you are talking to in client terms before we go on to that. So do not miss tomorrow. Position your business. I have to say, I absolutely love talking about this. It's something that actually Becky, I don't know if Becky Bray's on the call. She had like an implementation session yesterday. She now has a really fab positioning. Steph, I know you're on the call, you do, and so many of my other lovely clients as well. So it's so important to get that right. So just make sure if you can't make it live tomorrow, you have blocked out time to catch the replay, because that is super powerful. Okay, so let's jump into mindset then. So you've got your work bits out and ready. We're on page 6. So mindset work is so, so essential. It is, to me, the missing link for every practitioner. You need 3 things for success as a practitioner. You've got to have the technical skills. You've got to have the knowledge. You've got to have the competency. You've obviously got to be able to do your job. Now, if you're on this retreat, you either are qualified and you can do your job, or you're about to be qualified. But either way, you will have the knowledge. You will have the ability in spades. Then, and this is the missing one, this is like the bridge to the clients. You have to believe that you are outstanding, super amazing, whatever terminology you want to use, at your job. So you've got to be able to do your job well. And I know you can all do that, because you wouldn't be here. You've just got to have the belief that you can do it. So as I said, this is the missing link for many, many, probably everybody at some point. Then it is when you believe that you are outstanding, and particularly after day 3, when you know who you help, it is easy to shout about your business from the rooftops. And that is all marketing is. All marketing is simply saying, I help these kind of horses. This is what I do. Would you like some? Like, would you like me to help you and your horses? Yes, fabulous, book it. No, don't worry. Keep enjoying the, the content I produce and so forth. That's all marketing is. This is how I help. Would you like this service? Yes or no? It's quite simple. But without the belief that you are amazing at what you do, marketing doesn't feel right. Marketing becomes a drag. Marketing's a pain in the backside. And all the people that say, I don't want to be salesy. Oh, I don't really like promoting myself. Oh, I don't do marketing. Oh, I don't do social. It is because of the mindset. I hope that is crystal clear how it's those 3. Now, I would love to hear in the chat who feels that it's the missing link. Who feels, just put a 1 in the chat if you feel like, yeah, you're like nodding along. It's the mindset that I'm perhaps struggling with, because this is such an important thing for everybody. It really is. Oh, look at that. The chat's just exploded with a load of 1s. Yeah, Katie, it will come and go. Now, Katie, actually, you'll be hearing more from Katie later in the week. Katie and I have worked together quite a bit. Katie, it comes and goes because you keep going to another level. And there's a fab expression, new level, new devil. And I love that one because it's so true. You get it sorted and you're like, right, cracking this. And Katie is doing a fab job at smashing some brilliant goals in her business. And then you're like, right, bossing this level. Then you're like, okay, stepping up. And that's when a whole new load of mindset stuff comes up. And that's the thing. This is never a done deal. This is never over, the mindset work. It will just be different things. And you'll have what you feel right now, which could be, I don't know, a bit of self-doubt. Maybe you feel like you lack confidence. Maybe you feel a bit like all awkward, fear of judgment, something like that. What you feel right now will be totally different in 6 months. And it's not, so you do all the work, you just have to keep evolving with the mindset. As your business grows, it's so important. Different level makes you nervous. Janice, honestly, don't worry. Like you're talking, like I'm telling you, I didn't even think I could run 2 social media accounts not so long ago. You will cope and you will boss it if you keep doing the mindset work. It's so important. So like I've been saying all along, this week is about the next version, next level of you. you need to start retraining your brain. Now, I'm going to talk about how your mind works in a minute, and I'm going to keep it super simple. But basically, we've all got like a mental programming, just like computers, phones, they've got like programming, they've got a software in them. Our brains are very, very similar. But your programming is not designed for running your business and hitting whatever your goal is, 2K, 3K, 10K, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is, because otherwise you'd be there. And that's why it needs work on. So we have thoughts, we have emotions, we have feelings, we have beliefs, and we have habits. And all these are going to need a bit of a shift up. Like, think of that quote I was sharing on Instagram. We just do the same stuff every day. We see the same people, our families and friends, wake up in the same place. It's all the same. And then you think the same things. And then you feel the same things. You behave in the same way. And what do you know? Nothing else changes. Like, you can't keep everything the same and expect things to suddenly change. The change starts with you. So changing your business starts with you. Now, as I said, quick skim on how your mind works. This is just going to keep this very, very top line. But quite simply, think of your brain in two parts, your conscious mind and your subconscious or unconscious. Now, interesting part is we're not always aware of our subconscious because it is kind of below the surface, but it actually drives up to 97% of our actions. It affects everything. It's incredible, incredibly powerful, but we tend to just be thinking of the conscious part of our brain, you know, the bit that we're really aware of, the bit that's like, when I was like, oh, I must remember to press record on the Zoom, or, oh, I must post that letter, or that is your conscious bit. But there's so much more in going on, and it's just this like programming round and round on a loop. But we have the power to change this programming. Like, your brain is absolutely incredible. You can lay down new neural pathways actually quite easily if you just do a bit of work on it. So part of today is going to be identifying ways to, you know, getting some new habits in place. And part of today is also showing you your expert status, because this is so critical for the next day. It really, really is. So like I said, we're just like living Groundhog Day, you know, wake up, same place, probably have the same tea or coffee, whatever you have in the morning, do the same kind of routines and think the same thing. So if you have a reoccurring thought that, oh, I don't know, can I ever make this full time? Say that's where you are right now in your business. It's just going through your head again and again and again. And it's just dragging you down. That's why it's all about changing your thoughts, changing some of your patterns of behavior, changing some habits. So we start getting in the new thoughts. You have the power to change how you think and how you feel. Everybody does, just not that many people actually utilize it. Now, athletes have been doing this for yonks, and it's time that we kind of woke up and did this for our businesses as well. So this mental programming, basically, this is largely set down when you're between 0 and 6 years old. Our brain is in a different brainwave state, it's in a theta state when we are a young child. And basically, we just take everything in as fact. You might hear like a snippet of a conversation, overhear something, or somebody says an off-the-cuff remark to you. And as a young child, you just take that as fact, and you just totally accept it. And in this stage of life, this is where we decide we fit into the world, who we are, what we can have, what we can't have. And it really does go on to define us later on. So it doesn't, you could have had the most perfectest childhood, you will still have programming that doesn't serve you for business. Now, I mentioned yesterday on the training, I've got 2 small girls. They are amazing. But sometimes do I wish they had a better volume control? I could turn them down. Well, yes, of course, I'm only human. But you could, like, somebody could have said to you when you were a small child, something like, oh, pipe down, oh, be quiet, oh, we don't need to hear, well, grown-ups are talking, we don't need to hear what you've got to say right now. And I can see as a parent how it'd be very easy to say those kind of things. However, you could take that on into your subconscious as, my opinion doesn't matter, nobody wants to hear from me. And then fast forward X number of years later, you're like, yeah, I don't really want to shout about my business. Yeah, I don't want to go live. Yeah, I don't want to do this. You can see how this pattern happens and how this evolves. Now, your subconscious has got so many advantages, so many things that it does for us, which we're generally unaware of, but primarily wants to keep you safe. It wants to run your body to a blueprint, and it wants you to be like the best sort of version of yourself. It wants to support your existing belief system. So if, for example, you believe, oh, I should make a fuss, I shouldn't like shout about what I want to do, or that's bragging, like that's kind of wrong, it'll just find memories, bring those up, it'll find evidence of why you should stay as you are. Now, I hope that makes sense to everybody. That is, as I said, a very, very top line of how your mind is working and how it is also not working for business success. So we tell ourselves stories, we have thoughts, particularly when you are in the car, which most of you are for quite big chunks of your day. You have your thoughts for company even more than you may do if you were, I don't know, working in one yard, for example, you know, you were more busy. You have your thoughts for company, and the stories that we tell ourselves are so important. It's incredible how negatively almost all humans think. Now, what is an interesting fact is you might define yourself as a really positive person, and I'm the same. I'm very much like, oh, the glass is half full, it's positive. You can still have really negative limiting beliefs like, oh, I bet that client won't rebook. So you can see the positive and everything, or I don't put my prices up, people won't pay that. But you can still have these negative thoughts. You just probably aren't aware of them. And oh my goodness, it is a shock to your system when you start becoming aware of some of these thought patterns. You're like, what? I did not know I thought like that at all. So when you think it, then it's in your head, and then it becomes in your body as a feeling, and then it just becomes real. And then before you know it, it becomes a habit that you think each client won't rebook, or that's just one example, or whatever it is, or vets probably won't return your calls or whatever. And it just becomes hardwired into your brain. And we're just, as I said, just repeating the same things. But like I said, the good news is we can do this. We can change this. And it's, you know, humans are incredible how much change we can make in a week to our brains. It really, really is. Now, I mentioned the evidence and proof that your subconscious likes to serve up. It's like your biggest fan, your subconscious part of your mind, always wants to prove you right. We just need to make sure we're proving the correct beliefs, the beliefs we want to now believe. We just need to make sure they're the right things in that we're getting proof of. Now, we've all got a really clever part of our brain, like a filtering system. It's called the reticular activating system. And this is the part that when we tell it what we're interested in, it'll just like laser focus in on what we say we want to see. Give you an example of cars. If you're thinking of buying a new car, or you particularly like one brand of car, it's all you see. Or it could be new type of coat or wellies. Suddenly, the whole world's driving a Toyota, or they're all wearing whatever brand of wellies. Now, and you can feel like it can feel quite strange, actually. You can feel like, whoa, I didn't realize everybody else was driving a Toyota or whatever the car is. That is a clever part of your brain. It's dishing up proof. It's showing you what you tell it you want to see. So are you telling, this is my question to you, are you telling your mind the right things to get evidence of? So if you're telling yourself, you can't make money with horses, you can't make this into a full-time job, this will always be a struggle, there's too many people in my area, whatever you're telling yourself, your brain will be like, okay, find. It's like a Google search. So you're putting into your mind, can't get enough clients. You will just see reams and reams of other people advertising. If you believe there's enough people out for everybody, that won't be what your brain shows you. So do you have the right beliefs? And I bet some of these ones I just shared are really, really resonating. Like, you can't make money with horses. Who put like a smiley face or something in the chat if you have heard that time and time and time again? And if you believe that, that's all you're going to find proof and evidence of. But you can tell yourself you can make money with horses, and then your brain will start showing you evidence of what you want to see. It really, really is possible. So I'm going to share a little story about time. Now, I asked in the group the other last week, what would you like? Like if I waved my magic wand, more clients, more money, more time. Time was a big thing for lots of people. I got myself, I'm not going to lie, in a real mess with time. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's great with hindsight. It's a good story to tell you. But I have to say, I was in not a good state. Honestly, I came quite close to thinking, I just think I'm going to fold up my business. But a bit of me really didn't want to. And it was all down to time. I believed I did not have enough time to create what I wanted in my business. I told myself, literally, this is just the reoccurring thought, haven't got enough time, there's not enough time, got too much to do, haven't got enough time, too much to do, you'll never get it all in, you can't do all the things you need to for business success in the time you've got. Oh my God, it's exhausting saying all that again. It was so negative and I was so stuck. All I would see would be other people going, oh, I've done this and I've done this in my business. Oh, my business is growing. And I'd like want to kind of punch Instagram and I'd be like, oh, sorry for them. They've got more time. They've got more time. I was like victim state. I'm going to have time. And what do you think happened was that it's just so stressful. My cortisol levels were like through the roof. So I was so stressed. The time I did do work, I wasn't even effective because I was like, whoa, wired, full of stress hormones, bit of this, bit of that. I wasn't really achieving anything particularly productively. Then also, because I told myself I didn't have enough time, things seemed to take longer and longer. Probably, as I mentioned, not being very productive. The phone would ring, somebody would knock at the door. Oh God, it was a nightmare. But I turned it all around. This is a reason why I want to share this with you, because I was just like, right, this is an English expression, shit or bust, but I just was like, I've got to, I can't keep functioning like this. Like something's got to give. So I decided I had to change my beliefs around time. And that is simply what I did. And I didn't wake up one morning, oh, it's fine, I've got all the time I need. Like I had to consciously work on retraining my subconscious, because this was my biggest limitation, was time. I told myself I had the time I needed. I managed to be more relaxed around working. I didn't actually work more hours. I learned to become so productive. And what do you know? We're here now. Like it obviously paid off, but oh my goodness, I was so stuck. So wherever you're feeling stuck, please don't worry, because I felt so stuck and you can turn it all around. So I really wanted to share that with you. What you need, I mean, time might not be your biggest problem, but if it is, I feel for you because it was horrible. What you need is that unshakable belief. One, you're an expert. Two, people need your services right now. That what you have to share, what you offer and give horses, I can say horses and their clients, you know what I mean? Horses and their humans, because although you're marketing to the humans, it's all about helping the horses primarily. That you have to just 100% believe in that. In the same way that now I believe I have all the time I need. And occasionally I might be like, whew, this is quite a punchy lot to do this week, but I always get it done. And I didn't just double the time that I worked. I just made the time expand because I changed my mind. And you can do the same with whatever is blocking you. So I know you guys will feel doubt at some point. Like it's perfectly natural. You know, so many people are saying, oh, so many other people, I worry, will people pay that? Other people are better than me. So I'm asked about this all the time. And what we're going to do is really going to start help shifting this down. So grab your workbooks. First box, why are you an expert already? Now, you guys are CPD, continuing education, whatever you want to call it, junkies. There is no better word for it. You don't need another course. Like, Of course, I'm all for learning more and giving your clients more and more. I really am. But you're already an expert right now. You really, really are. You're all different stages in your journey, but you're already an expert. So why are you an expert? What makes you an expert? I would love you to all just jot something down in that top box. So we're on page 6 of the workbook. Have something jotted down here. I'm going to give you a few moments to do that. And then next, you're going to be thinking about the horses. You're going to list 10 horses that you've already helped. Oh, now let's dive into the chat. Just the word expert makes me, I didn't see the rest of it, makes me cringe. I love it that you've shared that. I don't love it that you feel like that, Marissa, because that needs to change. But you are an expert. You really are. This is why you need today's session. So if you're struggling with the top box, jump into the horses that you've already helped. I bet there's some kind of pattern. I bet there's some kind of theme. Were they rehab? Were they all, I don't know, like last chance saloon horses? Like, I've worked with so many people who are like, yeah, people tend to say it's come to me or it gets put down. So think of these 10 horses. There'll be those standout ones where you're just like, oh yes, I could never forget Teddy, who had X, Y, and Z. We never thought he'd come right, and now he's off doing X, Y, and Z. So think of these 10 horses, get those down, and then this will form. If you're struggling with the top box, this will help you form why you are an expert, because look at the success. If you are not qualified, doesn't matter. Think of 10 horses in case studies. Think of horses that you've come across. Maybe it was a horse that perhaps you rode or you cared for, and you've got a bond with it. You will have done something special, qualified or not, doesn't matter, where you know you and only you have made a serious difference to that horse. You really, really will. One of the horses that I'm thinking of for myself, if this gives you any inspiration. So I'm a riding instructor by trade. That's what I did for many, many years. Lovely horse that I started teaching this wonderful lady with. The lady was really, really nervous. The horse was really young and green, but ever so sweet and ever so compliant. We got her confidence up. She started doing a bit more. I started training the horse. One day, the horse, I asked it to trot, put her ears back. She still trotted, but I just felt this resistance. And long story short, I knew that there was a gut. I just knew something wasn't right. Yeah, it turned out multiple issues with this poor horse, and she just put up for so long. She'd never been lame, but this was the first thing she did, put her ears back. And she did it a couple more times, gave her a bit of time off. And anyway, then full investigations. And oh my goodness, every time I think of her, I just think I'm so glad I listened, and I'm so glad I spoke up for her. So she would be one of my top 10 horses that I know I've helped in my career. But you'll all have some. So how's everyone getting on with their top 10 horses? And hopefully that is making it easier to find your expert status. Definitely. I'm just clicking through the chat to see what we're getting on. Mindset's been my struggle from the start. You are not alone. You really aren't. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of ones for mindset, definitely. Where do we find the group? Mary, if you could just send Marissa a link to the group, that would be fab. Amazing. Right, let me know how you're getting on. Have you got your 10 horses? Just put a yes in the chat. Have you got something down for why you are an expert? It might be that you feel you're an expert because you can understand horses, you can feel their energy, you can sense their problems, you can locate their problems straight away. I don't know, because you are the expert on you, even if you're like, oh, that's a bit hard. Oh, yes, Mary, brilliant. Was able to go back to the expert box because you aren't currently thinking of yourselves as experts, but you are. Let the horses guide you. I mean, honestly, the horses will tell us everything. Don't horses give us the most amazing feedback all the time? They really, really do. So let your 10 horses guide you. Right, amazing. Okay, now, if you found being an expert hard, how are you going to get on with your superpowers? So I did a little training on this in the group, but for those of you that didn't see it, we all have superpowers. We all have things that make us so different. So for everyone who's thinking, oh, but there's other people in my area, all these other physios, all these other body workers. Yeah, so what? There might well be, but they're not you. You have something very unique, very different from anybody else. And this is why I love this exercise. So what's a superpower? Well, it doesn't need to even relate to business. It's things that make you you. What it might be something you've overcome, it might be something that you've done sporting wise. I'll give you some examples from my own life that I feel give me so many strengths as a coach and as an educator today in my life. Running a marathon, like injured loads of my legs. I've just had so many different injuries in my legs. I've talked before about having ME. Not a high point at the time, got to say, but took so much from that as an overall experience. Living abroad, traveling a lot, working abroad, running big equestrian centres, having 2 small children, renovating and managing property. We have a property business as well as this business. All these things give me strengths in what I do today. So, your examples might be different. It might be that you do cold water swimming. It might be that you've got 5 children, 6 horses. It might be that you've built a house. It might be that you've lived in different places. It might be that you can speak 3 languages. It doesn't need to be related to horses and business. It could be that at school, you're an amazing swimmer. You might have played county level, lacrosse, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is, but you will have some things that make you very much you, and definitely get something jotted down in this box. I did say this would be a day that stretched everybody for sure. So don't worry if you're finding it like a little bit like, oh, this feels a little bit uncomfortable. Please don't worry. This is the point of it all. It really, really is. So get some superpowers out and share one in the chat. I would love to hear like what makes you you, basically. What makes you unique, and really it just brings more to the table. I'm trying to think who's here. I could use a superpower for. Mary, actually, I'll borrow you. You won't mind. I know you won't. Mary's a personal trainer and she has all these other skills. But I think that brings something very special to your work with horses, because you've got a really great understanding of the human body, how humans work and operate and what motivates them. And you'll be able to understand the pressures, is that the right word, that the rider is putting on the horse because of your understanding of the body, of the human body. Like, that's a brilliant superpower. We've all got them. You've just got to go within to find them. If anyone's struggling, shout. But I can see some writing, which is great, I have to say. So keep scribbling, everybody, on your superpowers. Then we're going to be moving on to why your clients need you. That's you, not just why they need your the service that you offer to work with their horses. So what is it you and only you can do for the horses that you help? Oh, what have we got in the chat? Katie, rehab experience. Yes, I love this. Rehab myself, my horse, my dog. Yes, totally. That is a brilliant example. Becky, who I was talking to yesterday, her horse had, I can't remember what it did, but I think it was pretty close to not pulling through. Serious box rest, all the things going wrong with it. Horrible experience for her, but that does mean that she can, just like you, Katie, really understand what an owner is going through when their horse is ill/injured and stay rested for a really long time. So that can turn into a positive. Definitely a superpower for me has got to be buying a polo pony when I was 2019, spending every penny on this polo pony. I loved her so much. We're called Amanda. I loved her very dearly. I couldn't afford to buy a saddle because I didn't have any more money. So just rode her bareback. And it wasn't a smooth process, but Amanda and I learned a great deal together, and I did retrain her. She never was amazing at competition. She could be amazing, but she was very consistent. But we trained with some incredible trainers, like, you know, leading riders and trainers at the time. We learned so much. I did everything with her. She wouldn't have done a whole test at elementary or medium, but she could do many party moves at home. We taught her to jump. She could jump up to 120 quite nicely. And she was incredible. And that was an amazing experience. So you've all got it. Yeah, communication, Steph, that's a great one. You teach students, yeah, you can understand your clients, 100%. We've all got these superpowers. So just being a physio or being a body worker, however you define yourself, doesn't mean you're the same as anybody else because of your superpowers. Right, so let's go through why clients need you to work on their horses. So what is it when the horse is in front of you that you are really, really good at? I'll give you some examples from some of my clients if any of you are struggling. Kaylin, I don't think she's on the call. I don't think the time works for her. She is really good with getting to the root of the problem, like feeling the horse's energy and kind of tracing the problem back. And I know that that'll be top of her list. Like, that is why people need her, because she has all these different skills, but she is really good at getting to the root, not just kind of making the, what's the word I'm looking for? Making the symptoms lessen. She can help get to the root, obviously alongside vets and so forth, but that would definitely be her skill. Fiona, another of my lovely clients, I know she would definitely say she's really good at like reading horses, understanding what they do and don't want. That would definitely be a reason why people need her. She can do all the things, but that is her, you know, one of her extra skills. It really, really is. And you all have different things. So keep digging and keep cracking on with that. Why do clients need you? What do your clients say to you? When you finish a session, what do they say? Or they message you afterwards? Is it like, oh, he's so much more relaxed, he's so much looser? Are you the person who someone says, oh, well, just leave his head, you'll never get near his head, and you've got the horse with its head on the floor 3 minutes later? You know, I hear all these kind of stories. What is it that you bring to the horses that you treat? Now, I've said this already. If you're finding this hard, if you're finding that this feels odd or strange or uncomfortable, it's a good sign. It means that change is around the corner. It means that you're just taking everything up a step. Like, think about training your horse. If you're like, right, okay, like the example I gave you of my ex-polo pony, getting her to where she could just even do like a walk and trot. Oh, that took some work. It took some effort. You have to put the work in. Just the same if you were saying, right, here's my just backed 4-year-old, I want it to get to pre-novice eventing, and then the next year or 2 years, depending how talented it is, you're going to have to do some work. You'll feel tired, your muscles will feel sore, but you'll keep going. And this is exactly the same. It's a different kind of work. And you might find training a horse a lot easier than training yourself, but it is the same. And if you think of all the horses that you've trained over the years and you've encountered, training your brain is, honestly, it is going to be easy once you've wrapped your head around it. Oh, I love this, Mary. Outgoing and heart-centered. Love this. Connect on a deep level. Yeah, this is fantastic. I love it. This is what I mean. We've all got our own things, our own reasons. Horses release tension. Janice, that's such a skill. That really is. I hope that is one of your top 5 why clients need you. You know, maybe other people could, I'm just going to say do stuff. I know that's a very technical term, but other people might be able to get some similar results, but not the tension bit. Like, and this is where you need to step into you as an expert in what you do. Because the terms massage therapist, body worker, physio, I mean, that can encompass so much, but you're all bringing something so unique to each horse. You just need to realize it. Okay, let's move on then. Why can't you do this? So I'm sure you've got things to stick in this next box. What old stories are you telling yourself? Like, can't make money with horses. Like, how many people have said to you, you're going to have a part-time job. You'll never make this work full-time, etc., etc. Stick these kind of things in here. Like, working with horses means you've got to suffer, go without, work 16-hour days. What is it? Stick it in this box. Is it that you don't have time? Is it that you can't make your business work because you've got 3 young children? You've got, I don't know, your granny to look after. Doesn't matter. It's what is it you're telling yourself that you can't make it work? For me, it was time. Didn't have enough time. I would have just written time about 10 times in that box if I'd been doing this at that particular point in my life. But it's, we've all got something. Bring it out, jot it down. Then we can go on to some beliefs that you need to reframe. Oh, Luke, I love this. Releasing tension, knowledge, showing relaxed behavior. Fantastic. Jot that down. Oh, Ruby, so glad you're loving the workbook. I really, really like it too. That's fantastic. Okay. So beliefs you need to reframe. What is it you're telling yourself? What is it that we need to change? So as I said, it might be that you don't have enough time. It might be that you feel like there's too many people in the area. What is it that is stopping you? If you're struggling with 3, just jot the one thing that you know is repeating around your mind day after day. Because if you feel like you aren't worthy, if you feel like you can't make money with horses, if you feel like, well, if I had more confidence, I would do X, Y, and Z, or it's the time, they just turn into behaviors. You want, you believe it, you feel it, you act it, you do it. And if we can stop the thought, we'll stop the feeling, we'll stop the behavior. Because it's so easy to just be like, wow, it's not my fault, is it? It's like loads of people in my area, like, I can't make it work. And it's just such a negative energy. I personally, there are some areas do have lots of practitioners. Doesn't mean that they're all really good. Doesn't mean they'll all stay the course. I just think there are enough horses for everybody. Yes, it's going to differ. There may be some pockets of the world where there are hardly any horses. Well, then you need to be a bit more innovative and change how you operate, or you need to travel. But honestly, worldwide, are there enough horses? Yes, 1,000,000%. Sarah, I'm calling you Sarah. Was it Sarah or was it Sarah? If it's Sarah, can you just put yes, I'm getting your name right? Because I feel so bad I'm saying your name wrong each time. If you feel like you're not qualified enough, need more experience, yeah, you can talk a big talk and not know what you're doing. Have you ever noticed, if you see these dreadful posts in Facebook groups, like, I don't know, Kent Riders or Essex Horsey Grapevine, or whatever they're called. They've all got different names. I'm sure you have them in America as well, and New Zealand, where somebody will be like, oh, do you think I should do this with my horse? And people are giving one wrong advice quite often, but they are shouting it so loudly. Oh no, you don't need, like I always see this with you don't need a vet. Just put some cold tea on, it'll be fine. Just because you're saying it loudly doesn't mean you know what you're talking about at all. Oh, good. Sarah, I'm saying your name right. That's so good. Oh, Katie, thinking you can't do your Project Pony justice whilst you're working. I'm sure you can. I really am. I've seen some amazing photos. Get sucked into spending too much on the horse. Yes, I see. So you kind of like, Janice, you're like in the zone and you just want to keep giving. And then you're probably overrunning time-wise for the next horse, but also probably like overrunning like energy and emotionally wise and a bit drained. Boundaries are definitely something that you need. Okay, so think if I have a bad financial month, struggle to pay all the bills consistently. Steph, it's all about holding the vision of what you want, not what you don't want. Now, I know that's easy to say. And also think of worst case scenario, what would you do? Do you have other kind of credit means? Do you have, I don't know, like a mortgage holiday where you could just take the pressure off if you needed to? But then focus not on that. Just know that you've got like a plan B but then focus on it all going right. If you tell yourself, you're holding the vision of, oh, what if is more likely to happen, 100%. What else are we hearing? Let's see. So you feel like people who are shouting more on social are better. You know what? Not at all. You guys can do the same content that you're seeing from other people. And you know what? There are people who have all the followers and not enough paying clients. There really are. So don't let other people's accounts bring you down. We're going to be talking about that in a moment, actually. I feel like you guys have skipped ahead of the workbook. You know what I'm going to say. Don't feel like you have enough connections. Do you know what? Connections are important, but knowing who you help and knowing the results you give is, I think, more important. Not good enough to make a difference, not feeling qualified enough, lack confidence, better therapists, see other people's business posts, don't know how to show off your business. People move away from the word holistic, not being creative or good with marketing. Well, that is a really interesting one, Nicole. Thanks for sharing that, because if you're just telling yourself, it's like I was with time, I'm not good at marketing. No, I'm not very good with marketing. How motivated are you going to feel to write some social media content, to contact a magazine and say, hey, I could write you a fab article, to do the stuff that needs to get done to push your business forward. So, Lisa, you kind of just said what I was about to say, actually. If you think that you are no good at something, you're not going to be any good at it. But quite often is you don't actually know how to. And that's a big difference. Not knowing how to do something doesn't mean you're bad at it. Like, I wouldn't say I'm bad at speaking Italian at all. I could not say one word. I haven't learned yet. But I wouldn't say I was bad at it. I would say I have no competency. Totally different. Oh, this is interesting. Marissa, work really hard on a blog, get no feedback, don't believe anybody cares, takes it seriously. It is all about doing so much more. Like, creating a blog is brilliant. But then what people do is they create a blog and then they tell about 3 people about it. And then it's like, oh, well, that was a bit crap. You have got to be telling the world. You have to get stuff in so many more places. You really, really do. Writing articles, I call them articles, blogs, informative things, whatever you want to call them, is absolutely fantastic for your expert status. It really, really is. Having them all on your website is amazing, because one, when people ask you the same questions, you can go, I've got a post on that. Boom, you can send them the article to just read it. Like, people always used to be asking me, what's included on a horse first aid course? Why should I come on a course? Ding, send them the right article, saves you loads of time. 2, when people come to your website, they can have a massive binge on all this content. But to start the ball rolling, you've got to get it everywhere. You need other people sharing it. You need to be sharing. You have to find so many ways to talk about the same thing to get that traction. You really, really do. Keep going with writing the articles. Honestly, I committed a couple of years ago to writing 1 a week. And now I've got an amazing library of, like, I didn't keep going at 1 a week. I did it for a year. I've got an amazing article. I know 70, 80 different articles. It's fantastic. It really, really is. How do you get the confidence to put your stuff everywhere? Well, what we're doing today is the first part of that. It's knowing that what you have got to say, and tomorrow will really help you with that as well, is worth sharing. If you know who you're talking to, which is what we're talking about tomorrow, and how you solve their problems, it is easy to share your content, because your content creation becomes a dream. So I think for some of you, it may be that what you're saying is either not quite sitting right with you, or it's not quite sitting right with your audience, which is why it doesn't quite feel comfortable and natural to throw it everywhere. Because when you know that what you say helps people, you want to put it everywhere. And then the people that you are speaking to are like, oh, she gets it. Oh my God, that's so true. I so agree. Bing, they're sharing it. So it may be content, great content, not in front of the right people, or it might be that the content isn't right for those people. So that's something I think we can cover off more tomorrow, but don't give up on writing articles. Honestly, so important. Right, has everybody got some beliefs that they need to reframe? Because your next job is to turn them around. So let's use time. You've said, I don't have enough time. Your new belief you want to believe is, I have enough time to get everything done. I'm not qualified enough, or I'm not knowledgeable enough. I am qualified. I have the skills that my clients need right now. And if you're struggling to turn one around, stick it in the chat and I will help you. But this is what we want to be doing. Turning these around. It's so important. Isabel, let's see this one. All my time and effort getting my degree won't pay off, won't get the grades I want. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your horse. I can imagine that is probably the biggest worry, which is then playing on everything else. Like if you're worrying about your horse not coming right, then you're probably worrying about other things not coming together. I can really feel for you on that one. Honestly, I don't think, once you get going, I don't think where you've studied or exactly your, like the exact grade you get when you study is really what people are interested in. Like, I have never asked anyone treating my horse, where did you train? I just need to know that they are good at what they do, that they're insured and regulated and registered, and that they can help my horse. I'm more interested in them as a person. Once I know they've got a qualification, it's up to date and everything, like those boxes are ticked, I'm more interested in other people telling me that you're great, so social proof. And I'm more interested in you as a person, because I want to feel that you, me, and my horse will all gel together. So, of course, training is important, but I don't think speaking as a client, that is the biggest thing long term. Where did I train? How long have you been doing this for? Yeah, you can get that. And I remember getting that when I was not long as a riding instructor. And it can feel a bit scary to be like, this is my second week. It can feel horrible to say that. What I would turn that round as, yeah, I'm newly qualified, which is brilliant because all my knowledge is up to date and current. It's all about how you see it. It really is. Yes, that's so true, Sarah. I ask this all the time. No, I'm saying that more interested in the fact you can get the job. Exactly. Honestly, where you got the piece of paper from, as long as it's a good quality piece of paper, you've got a decent qualification, I don't really think anybody cares where it comes from in the end. And you don't always feel that at the time, but that's what I think moving forward. I really do. Okay, so how has everybody got some new beliefs written down? Now, thinking back to yesterday, if you truly believe 100% in yourself and felt really confident, how would you feel when you wake up in the morning? Like, what would be your predominant feeling? Would it be like joy? Would it be like happiness? Would it be like pride in starting the day ahead because you felt confident, because you really 100,000,000% believed in yourself? What would be different in your life? Like, imagine how, I know this is a problem for some people, problem's not the right word, I know this is a feeling that some of you have, and you treat a horse, however great the session goes, as you get into the car, you're like, better don't rebook. So how would it feel if you just didn't have those extra little niggly negative bits that you don't want? Think how like light and free you'd feel. You wouldn't feel weighed down. This like negative worry, guilt, maybe that's something for some of you. So feel those feelings. Get into the feelings. I think this is what I was saying yesterday, because the feelings is something that you can tune into right now. And feeling how you need to be will get you to being that state. Does that make sense? If you can feel the energy of getting into the car after an appointment and driving and being like, they've already booked, or I know the book. Confident expectation. How would you act differently? If you felt like all your clients would want to rebook you, you would just be standing there with your diary being like, I can do the Tuesday, I can do the Friday. You wouldn't be like, oh God, this feels awkward. What if they say no? You would just expect them to book. Because why wouldn't they? Like, unless they have expressly said, this horse is being sold tomorrow, I'm moving 300 miles away next week, why would they not want your services? It's you telling yourself that they don't. And of course, that's then projected onto the client. So get that down and start feeling that now. Okay, let me just hop into the chat really quick. I can see, oh, I can't move it. How do you bring in clients when you're newly qualified, have no social presidents? I can't speak. Have no social media presence or positive recommendations by word of mouth. Tomorrow is about, will really help you. You need to know who you help and how you help them. And then we can talk about how to get the ball rolling. But first you need to know who and how. Want to be more productive. Amazing. That's a great new belief. Okay. Oh, yes, Monica. Icelandic horses. When I look around the big horse people, they look down on me. It feels like they're not taking me seriously. There's only a few Icelandic horses here. Struggling to sell myself to owners of other breeds because I'm not experienced in jumping or eventing. Right. Get into the heads of what people who do jumping and eventing, what their problems are. And I bet there's some crossover. It doesn't matter. Like, get out of the space of worrying about the type or the breed of horse or the size. Get thinking about what issues those horses have, the riders and the horses, and how you can solve the problem. Tomorrow, Monica will help you massively with that. It really, really well. Another limiting belief, struggle to tell clients when I think they need to rebook in case they don't want it. Now, I was saying this yesterday, Lucy, nobody knows anyone else's money situation. The people that you make, we all make judgments, and the ones we think, they can't afford it. They book session after session. The ones who you think, they're rolling in it, they pull up in a new Range Rover, they're like, no, I'll just have one session, that'll be enough. You cannot control. You really, really can't. So don't project that. You focus on the results. Focus on serving. It is not your job to decide who can or who wants to pay and who doesn't. That is not your job to decide. Okay, so these feelings are so, so important because you can have whatever you want. You just have to start feeling it now. Like, your brain doesn't know the difference between you creating reality and actual reality. So if you can get into feeling how you want to feel, it'll start becoming real so, so much faster. It really, really will. More motivated, feel free. Yeah, start feeling like that now. What is it you need to do, Mary, to feel free? Think, what is it you need to release to have that feeling of freedom so you can start feeling the freedom now? Like, freedom is a really big thing for me. And I can feel the good feels of freedom when I go on my bike. Nothing related to business, but I'm feeling how I want to feel in my business. I pedal off my bike with little Olivia on the front seat, and I feel like, whoa, totally free. And it's the same on a horse. And I'm getting into that vibe, and that's what I want in my whole life and business so easily. So find a way that you can get into those feelings right now. Okay, let's talk. I did say I'd probably overrun a few times. I'm going to slightly overrun. Let's talk about how we can do some brain retraining. Now, affirmations, you'll have heard of these, I'm sure, but they're quite simply positive I am statements. I am becoming more confident. I am an amazing therapist. I have all the time I need. I am so grateful to have hit my £2,500 July goal, or whatever it is. That's simply what an affirmation is. You are telling yourself, you are affirming to yourself that you can do something, that you are something, that you feel a certain way. And what I'd like you to do, to write out these affirmations, let's create them from your day one stuff. So what comes up when we looked on page 3, under the gold box, when you were like, I can't have that money, I can't have that time, I can't take that time off, what did you write down as reasons why you couldn't? Was it because you had 20 chickens and 15 horses? Was it because you feel you're too young, too old, too whatever? Your class, your background, your race, your gender, what was it that you put in that box? Because let's turn those into your affirmations. And then while you're doing that, I'm just going to mention a couple of other mindset tools that you can get into the group of using, because there's so much out there. I could literally have spent the whole 7 days just talking mindset tools with you all, but I wanted to keep it mixed up. So you're going to have to do some trial and error. Visualization is a really great one. I've mentioned that loads. We know it works. There's some amazing studies. You can have people playing the piano, playing the drums, doing a particular sport. You can have them actually doing it, monitor their brain and monitor the reactions in their muscles. And you can have people pretending, basically, visualizing doing that, mentally rehearsing doing that. The same things happen. The same brain pathways happen. The same things happen in their muscles. I find it incredible, but it's true, which is why athletes, you know, I've said this so many times before, top 3-day event riders, they've walked that course quite a few times. They ride it on one or however many horses they've got, but in their head, they haven't just, that's not the first time they've ridden it. When they jump out that start box, they're not like, oh God, where am I going? They know they've done it over and over and over and over again in their heads. And you can do the same. For those of you thinking, oh, will they rebook? Yes. Visualize seeing one of your clients. You finish the treatment. Oh, thank you so much, Becky. I really enjoyed treating Bob today. Right, let's get you booked in. I think he needs a session, whatever. See that in your head, mentally rehearse that. Visualization is so strong. I really recommend that. There's so many like guided meditations where you can help you visualize your goals on YouTube. You know, honestly, there's so much stuff out there. Meditating might be something that some of you do, might not be, doesn't matter. Definitely worth a try. You can just be like a minute. You can have quiet music. You can have some really there's some amazing music compilations out there. I'll share some links into the group later of things that I use that can get your brain into a different state so that you can get into your subconscious. So visualizing, really strong one. Meditating, journaling, write down what you want to happen. Like you did the future diary entry yesterday. Do more of that. Set the intention for your day. Write about how you love the fact that all your clients say, yes, I want a second session, that new clients are booking in all the time. Whatever it is you want to happen, write it down. It will start happening. Vision boards. I've actually got a vision board. This will feel like a Blue Peter presenter right here to show you. I love a vision board. This is my vision board for this year because I wanted to do some more yoga. I didn't want that exact wardrobe, but like I had so many declutters of clothes and all the lockdowns. I was like, I'm wearing the same 3 outfits. I'm done with this. I've bought new clothes. I have been doing more yoga. We needed a new car. We wanted this car. It's not exactly that car, but it's the same make, same model, same color, pretty much that car. I put a picture of a pony on because I wanted to ride more. And as you might have heard me talking about, I've been offered the ride of the most amazing little horse for all of the autumn and winter 3 times a week. I was so excited. All I did was put a picture up there. It's a horse I'd already known, but the opportunity came to me because vision boards work. Your mind sees in pictures. Vision boards make a massive difference. Gratitude's another amazing mindset tool you can try. Just feeling grateful for everything you already have. And changing your state. Janice, you just mentioned putting some music on. Boom. It lifts your energy. It might be working out. It might be just dancing around the kitchen in the morning. Doesn't matter. What are you going to do? What 3 things are you going to commit to trying later today or tomorrow? Stick it in. Stick it in your workbook. Really, really important. Yeah, listening to podcasts. Podcasts are brilliant. you know, you want to find the proof. Your brain wants proof that what you are telling it is true. So if you're going to start telling it, you can have a successful business. Listen to podcasts of people that have had a successful business. Amazing. I love a podcast too. So we need to make sure that your energy is in the right place, and you need to have this belief. It's so important. Now, before I leave you, I want to just chat evening time. This is a really important time of the day, and I bet, if you're honest, it's also a time when lots of you are either trying to do admin, or she's just picking up a phone, having a little cheeky scroll through last thing. Yeah, maybe pretending you're working, or in reality seeing other people's work accounts and feeling like crap because you're just comparing yourself. So most people's last hour of the day is not setting them up for tomorrow. We want to be setting ourselves up for an amazing day the day before, and that's why this is your homework. So I'm on page 9 now of the workbook. Evening time is so important. Your brainwave state, I mentioned this earlier, but at the first and the last hour of the day, your brainwave state is like you were as a child. So it's really easy to get stuff into your subconscious. So no screen time for the last hour of the day. Who is going to tick this box? I commit to no emails, no screen time before I sleep. The last thing you want to see is a client going, I think I might cancel, or somebody sending you a rubbish message, or just having a scroll and seeing somebody else who looks like they're more busy and they're making you feel like crap. So I want to see lots of tick, 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 ticks in that one. You will thank me for it. Honestly, it might feel a bit odd, but you will thank me for it. It is not setting you up for success. Whilst you sleep, your subconscious is busy. It's busy thinking about what you want and pulling it in. So if you've gone to sleep thinking you're not good enough, you're not as good as so-and-so, or stressing about a client, or stressing because you have or haven't heard back from somebody, that is not setting you up for success. So you're off the emails, you're off your phone the last 60 minutes, and then before you go to sleep, you are going to think about what you are grateful for in your life and business. 10 things. Doesn't have to be business. It could just be your bed. Okay, it really could be. Brilliant. I love that, Nicole. You have an auto message. I don't reply to the next day. As long as you stick to it. I like that. Okay, so 10 things you're grateful for. It doesn't matter what it is. It could just be the fact you're dry, warm, and safe in your comfy bed. But the gratitude makes such a difference. Living in a state of being grateful changes everything. When you're in I haven't got enough money, I haven't got enough time, I haven't got enough clients, it just drags everything down. Okay, page 10 of your book. What you're going to do tonight, set your intention for tomorrow. So what is it you want to achieve tomorrow? Who do you need to be? Now, I've talked about this quite a lot, but I believe we sometimes need to be slightly different versions of ourselves to get different tasks done. So do you need to be content queen? Are you admin queen tomorrow? Are you just being a kick-ass therapist? What is it you need to do? Do you need to be really patient? Are you doing a task that maybe isn't in your zone of genius? Like, I don't know, you're doing something to your website, for example. Doesn't matter, but get it in there tonight. And the last thing you do before you go to sleep is you bring up the mental picture that we set from day one. So you can choose, it could be your short-term goal or your 5-year goal, and just sit there for 2 minutes before you fall asleep and just visualize that last thing that means you know you've completed your goal. So we were talking about the 10th client paying you, or seeing that notification from PayPal, that last bit of money coming, whatever it is that means you know you've hit that goal. You are going to mentally rehearse that. Feel those feelings now. Practice it now. Practice people in your head saying, yes, Katie, my horse would love 10 more sessions. Yes, Hannah, I want to book my horse in with you. Practice it and it will happen so much faster. Whew. Right, guys, a lot of homework to do. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for joining. Reminder, book in a call if you haven't. Like, they all filled up so fast yesterday, which was amazing. But now, as I said, 2 slots have become free, unless they're now filled later today. So 4:15 UK time and 4:30 is available. Yes, Steph will send you a Zoom link, no problem at all. Just also a reminder, on Thursday, I will be talking to you about my mastermind program. Now, I know lots of you have reached out and been like, I want more after this retreat, I want more. Get a consult call booked in. I know I've got some of you booked in to chat on Thursday. Get one booked in if you think that that is you. That will be fab. And do your homework. Let me know in the chat. There'll be a homework thread when you've done your homework. And I can't wait to hear how everybody wakes up feeling tomorrow, because I can trust you. Trust me that you're going to feel better than you did today, without a doubt. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining live. That's been so, so much fun. Oh, thank you for all your lovely messages. My absolute pleasure. I love it. Honestly, this is so, so much fun. Can't tell you how much I'm enjoying it. And I'm so glad you're all enjoying it too. Right, I will let you all go. Do the homework. Get into the group. Remember, this is your space for connections, for chatting. Get implementation calls booked in. 10 minutes of my help. Doesn't get offered off that much. Grab one. Why not? Take care, everybody. I'll see you in the group. Can't wait to hear. Yes, I didn't have my screen time. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye.